Hey guys, welcome to the final, well, hopefully final part of the series where we're in Substance Painter and we can start baking and texturing our tires. What you want to do, first of all, in Substance Painter, if you don't have it, then why are you watching this video? No, joking. I recommend picking it up, get it on Steam so you can get the perpetual license. That's what I got it on. Right, what we'll do is we're going to make a PBR template off a test. We'll click our file. We're going to go for, let me find it second, environment, tires, FBX. We want the bake file that we had. We're going to change it, we're going to have a 2K texture and we want to change the normal math format to OpenGL to work within Blender and Unity. Maybe Unity have work within Blender anyway. And everything else you can leave as is and just press OK and this will load up into your scene. So here we are, here's our tires, our low poly tires. We just need to bake our information now. So what you want to do to begin with is click up this little croissant looking thing up here, baking. These are the settings that I'm going to use, that I use all the time. If you want to use them the same, carry on. I think it just makes everything perfect. So output size is 2K. We're going to click our high definition mesh, which is our tires underscore HP. I'll load in a second. We want to change match to by mesh name because we have named everything properly. So we called everything with a low poly underscore LP and the high underscore HP. We want to go to the ambient occlusion and always on mesh name, self occlusion, only on same mesh name. Same goes for curvature, self intersection, only on same mesh name, and thickness as well, only on self mesh name. These are the settings that I use. We'll change the cage depending on how this bakes, which I'll do in a second, but the rest of it, that's my default go-to. I recommend using it. There's other, if you guys recommend anything else, please let me know in the comments, but that's what I like to use. We can change our frontal distance on our cage because it was way too far, 0.1, so we want to bring it down, but we don't want any red sections, so we could probably go with 0.0035. That looks like it should cover most of it. We're in all blue. We might need to tweak the rear distance, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and bake this and see what it comes out with. So it'll bake the normals, the world space normals, the ID maps, the ambient occlusion, curvature, position, and thickness maps. So far, I can't really tell. I think there's a few places with errors, but you kind of have to leave it run and then figure it out. Then when it loads up, see what the problem areas were. So we'll come back out of this and we'll just try and figure out. There's obviously a few problem areas. Bake on the top, on the tread is nice though, if you look at it. Bake on this tread is nice. Over here, yeah, I like that. This has a little bit of issues because obviously we baked it. Bear with me, let me bring up my PureRef file again, which had our information. We'll see what kind of Fortnite got away with on there. Yeah, I think you can get some of this jaggedy edge in, and you can get away with it. Ideally, you don't want it, but we can tweak it in a second now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that one actually isn't too bad. This one, we haven't done the opacity map, so the opacity sections are all wrong. This one isn't picking up properly on the outside. One completely didn't pick up at all. We look at the normal map. Didn't pick up this at all. Where's this strip? There's a strip here that didn't get picked up, and that must be that one. Is it? No, that's that. Where's this strip that didn't get picked up at all? What is this section? Go back into Blender. I don't know why I closed it. We'll have a look at that and see what this strip is. I can't even see where it's missing. I'm just blind. Don't know. Go on our retopo after. We want to see if we can get away with just tweaking the parameters of the cage. So we don't have to change the actual low poly, but no, that's the high polys. Okay. Where is this? It's this inner rim here. Oh, it's the inner rim of the entire thing. Okay. It didn't pick up. Is it too far away, maybe? What I want to do is show you guys quickly baking the opacity map and select all these. Bake the opacity map, right? But what you want to do is check the dilation width down to 0 and apply diffusion. That should bake. You've seen it then? See what I'm saying? Baked instantly. Doesn't show up there, but obviously if you added a new fill layer, but then just click, if you alt click opacity and change this to the opacity map, boom, there it is. We gotta go in straight through, guys. It's see-through. Probably not ideal since we don't really want it to be, but I wanted to show you guys how this worked with the opacity map. Again, this one similar. We shouldn't have done. We should have done these so they were dead center with each other, which we can tweak. But otherwise, not too bad. You know, we can change. We can tweak the what do you call anti-aliasing, so it's a bit smoother on these segments. Holes. That's brilliant. Why is that coming through as a complete? Did I not merge the high poly together on this one? Let's go as a full separate tire. I'll have to figure that out in a second. Okay, yeah, I'll fast forward the rest until I get this big right, and I'll leave comments if there's anything that I realise I've done wrong. So as you can see, I had a couple of errors along my way. I realised that high poly had the trim of the high poly was facing the wrong way on its normals, so we had to flip that. That's why it wasn't showing up on the one section. I tweaked the interior of the thin wheel, so all the points are at 0, so it kind of mirrors tidy, but I was testing out the mirror on it, and because I don't know, it kept messing up the shading. It just wasn't working out. Couldn't tell you why without more looking at it even in depth, but I realized that's not the way to go. We could do this again at the end rather than doing it now. I did tweak the inside of the large tire on the right hand side because it wasn't baking correctly. So it was just literally too far away from the mesh. So you have to make sure when you are baking, yeah, you can change the cage no matter how many times, but if it's too far away from the mesh, then it's not going to bake tidy anyway. You have to get it a bit closer. But yeah, it was this part of the doing game assets can be the most awkward. Getting your bakes right. There's so many little things that could go wrong. I quickly tested out the opacity, baking the opacity in this, and just to see what that kind of looked like. Again, that one didn't really look that good, to be honest. It was just a test. Then I noticed another error, as you can see there. Triangulation was going on the bake. I was thinking, oh, is it maybe just because it's not quite close enough? But no. I had mirrored that segment without realizing, and the UVs were on top of one another. This is why I said earlier in development, you need to separate your UV islands if they are on top, otherwise you will get that triangulation weird bake going on. So that needs to be fixed. Just basically when you are, if you do have overlapping UVs, make sure they're split and before you bake. You can always combine them again later on. But yeah, we got one. All the errors kind of got fixed. That the most awkward one was realizing that the high poly was flipped the wrong way. So that's just on me. Always check your within Blender. Make sure everything's blue instead of being red. I just did a couple of big tests with different cages to get the right result that I wanted. Eventually, I think we get there. Yeah, guys, your chances are you're gonna get a lot of errors during this process. Just keep figuring out, tweaking it. Have a look at your low poly and your high poly. Just make sure it's all good. Okay, guys, so this is our bake roughly done. I'll probably talk through some of the errors you've just seen just now, but this is got to the point where for a really low poly, you know, it's 1,000 tries. It's not a bad result. This one's probably one of my favorites. Maybe not the trim. The wheel is one of my favorites. Isn't too bad. You know, they are a bit wibbly and wobbly. You know, it's the same with all of these. They're so low resolution, so you're gonna get that little wobble. See, from these, just from the bakes. It's the joys of having it such low resolution model. But say this one isn't too bad when it's horizontal. I think it's more noticeable when they're vertical. But they're not bad results. And you know, we could texture these ones now. These two that I mentioned. Oh, save. These two that I mentioned with the opacity on. I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. I don't actually like this outcome. I don't think it's, you know, you wouldn't see through it completely anyway. On, you know, there wouldn't be nothing on the inside, so we'd kind of have to do another plane on the inside just to hide it, but or hide whatever was on the inside. But we should have just. We don't need to use the opacity map. We could just paint these black. Instead, probably would be a better option. This one, I mean, it was an experiment to have it as a plane. Kind of gone a bit odd, as you can tell. But it's not a terrible result. From, you know, if you're looking from here, it's not terrible. And it saved us a lot of topology by doing it. Alright, so guys, so we're going to do a bit of texture on these. We're just going to keep it simple for now. You guys can play around with it as much as you want with hand painting or whatever. Obviously there's lots of smart materials you could just throw on there and tweak. I don't know. Whatever. We could just go pick a steel one on there, just for example, to look what it looks like. You know, there's plenty to play around with this app, and obviously you don't just use smart materials and slap them on and say it's done, but you can get some really nice results by tweaking them and making the use out of them. But you can see it is nice, but we're going to go for more of a stylized look. So what I'm going to do is, okay, so this is the opacity. I like to be organized and name stuff. I'm going to create another fill layer, which will be the fill background. We're just going to do a dark gray tires. We're going to add another fill layer and color. Maybe. We're going to add a black mask to it, and then we're going to add a generator. Yeah. And we're going to add a ambient occlusion map. Want this to be darker. We want it to be darker than it was. I don't know why it's going. Just see what occlusion's going on. Doing the opposite of what we want. False. Okay, you want it to make the most out of these depth areas. What we want it to do is we want to multiply it rather than normal. You make the most out of these areas. It gives it that fake ambient occlusion kind of look to it. play around with the settings. Obviously, I've just done it dark blue, but we could just go black, really dark blue, make the most out of it. I do like the blue look. Yeah. So that's the AO. We're gonna add another fill layer, and we're just gonna do color. We're gonna add a black mask, and we're gonna add another generator. We're gonna say curvature. No, we're gonna get rid of A and B and curvature. Curvature map. We want this to make the most out of the edging. Edges like this, or something similar. We want it to be basically slightly lighter color than the fill layer. So we can eyedrop the fill layer and just put it up slightly. Okay, what we should have done is put all these in a group folder as well. Put all them in a folder. Map maybe it has to go on top. Make the most of it, but it does give us an interesting look to the tires. We can, okay, so that's a curvature curve. Again, you guys, you can play around with this as much as you want. I'm just doing it dead quick, just to show you. Add a fill layer. Again, just color. We're gonna just add a filter straight onto it. I'm going to do the baked light stylized. I'm going to change this to soft light. And then you can literally change this now to base color. You can see on the material. That one, and change this. Kind of like that's what it is without. That's kind of what it is. It adds some fake depth and the stylized look to it. It's quite nice. You need some roughness on this, I think. The roughness, it is way too shiny, so I think I do need to change this. Interesting. Red, maybe. Really dark one. Yeah. Okay, so this is the big stylized lighting. Let's get a roughness value on, so we'll just alt click rough. Change that value. This is going to affect the whole mesh, so it's like 1 is fully rough and then 0 is full shiny. Tire is going to be quite rough, almost fully rough. We'll do it 0.9 just to maybe do AO, give the AO roughness as well. Of 1. So if we look at the roughness map, okay, we need to move that underneath. AO has got even more roughness than the rest of it, so these dark crevices are fully rough. You could add a bit of roughness to the curvature if you wanted, and make it slightly shiny on these sections. If you wanted to, you don't have to, you know. Completely up to you, but it's a stylized tire, you know. I think it's not looking too bad. Still not sure on the red. Maybe we will just dark, completely dark. But I think it's quite a nice look to it. You know, it's maybe these tires are a little bit blue tint. They changed the fill, so it's. Why have we got all these stats on? What color? Okay, maybe we could change it to a bit of a blue. A blue, not overly. Too blue? A little tint, not a lot. Again, the curvature, I drop it and then just slightly lighter color. Again, guys, this is just quickly doing it. You guys can play around with it as much as you want. and show me some interesting results. We do need to change the rim, so this is the main tire. Now we need to add. What we could do is just copy this, duplicate it, but we'll tweak it now. If we hide this one, we'll make this one bright silver-ish, right? Obviously, I'm just gonna hide everything else. This is just the fill layer. We're gonna add a black mask on the folder. I'm gonna use first of all, I'm gonna use polygon fill, and I'm just gonna select. Let me actually see this properly. Do blue. So I'm just gonna select the polygons. First of all, use this tool here, and we're gonna select the polygons that have the metal rim. So case for this going up here, where is it? Same goes for this. Obviously, the way, because we're doing polygon fill, it's just going to take all these polys, but this one's baked on completely. So you will have to manually go in. You change our brush to a hard brush as well. This is where the tweaking comes in. The time can. You'll have to you'll have to go and erase and tidy this up, because we do not want all of that, which I'll do in a second. And let me just show you. First of all, obviously we can tweak this to silver-ish, but we're gonna add some metallic to it. That's gonna be shiny, much better. Oh, that's the roughness. We didn't I didn't label the roughness. Okay, we'll leave that. We'll delete that one. I'll add an AO. Again, it's quite nice. Curvature. There's not a lot going on because these are so. Kind of has a bit, but oh, we need to make it the lighter color. I forgot. Almost white, probably. You just see where curvature. This AO is very dark. I don't think we need this AO to be so dark. Multiply by 20, maybe? We don't need it to be super dark. We can do the big stylized lighting again. Quite a nice effect. So I'm going to speed up the next part, guys. I'm going to tidy up these segments and erase them using the tablet. So it looks like this. We want that tire coming through. We don't want the this metallic section to take over all this section. So I'm going to speed this next section up, guys, and tidy all this up by hand. Okay, guys, so there's a quick texturing of this. Obviously, you can spend a lot more time, do a lot more detail, and like hand painting on these back sections. I mean, like, I did this as a test to show you guys how to do alphas and stuff. It doesn't work in this scenario, obviously, because there's nothing on the inside. This one, again, I'm not too happy with. It doesn't look right. I think it shows an example of these two. We should have baked like these other two. It looks a lot cleaner, especially for a game asset. You could just chuck that in the world. The inner rim looks cleaner. Obviously, it requires a bit of touch-up, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's a tutorial at the end of the day. But we could use these. We could rebake these on different rims and stuff and play around with it. But we'll see. It depends what you guys came up with. If you did the same as these ones or like different rim patterns, or if you don't have any rims altogether, you know, we could just remove these and see what it looks like back in Blender. But it would have been wasted texture space if we don't end up using it. But it's all a learning period anyway. Right. So if you're happy with how it looks, then we just need to export it and then take it back into Blender. So you want to export your textures. Hold on 2 seconds. Make sure you have saved. Save as. Make sure you put it in your texture folder and save it. There we go. It might take a little while, depends how much you've got going on. There's not too much here though. Export textures. You want to change where it goes. You want it to be where you just were basically. Environment, tires, textured. We want to text it out to export it for Unity Metallic Standard. That's what we're going to render out, export out as. This will give us, if we look at exports, it'll give us an albedo transparency map, an emission map, metallic smoothness. We don't really need the emission map, and the normal map. Let's just look down in here a second. Yeah, we don't need the emissive map, we just need the others. The albedo transparency, metallic smoothness, the normal. Those should give us everything we want. So in the base map, what we have is the base color and the opacity in one map. What I'm looking at? Oh no, this one. The base color and the opacity in the albedo map. We're going to have the metallic and the glossiness, which is just inverted roughness, in this map, and the normal. On top of that, we would like to also export the ambient occlusion. So we could just do a new one, RGB. Maybe we don't need to do RGB. We could just do gray. Copy this. Call it AO. Because I would like the AO map. And then you literally just ambient occlusion, we'll put that there. Should give us an AO map. If there's anything else you want, you could just do the same thing. But what we'll do is we'll take off emission. We don't need to export emission map, so this is what we're going to get. AO, albedo transparency, metallic smoothness, and a normal map. And you just export. And then we can go back into Blender and set it all up. I'm not going to show you guys because there's a tutorial on my channel how to set up these all your textures in Blender. You check it out. The link will be in the description. It was just setting up a silly pumpkin, but it'll show you how to set it properly, and then you can start doing some renders then. Here's our model set up in Blender. They're looking alright. They're not the best, obviously. It was just a rush job. But you can see you've got, this is your model, your game asset, and look how pretty it looks. Then once you've got all your normals baked and textured it and stuff, it's not quite to the level of these ones, but you could get there with more time spent on it. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. I much prefer like this one. This style of baking it all in one go. These didn't really work out too well. It looks okay. I like the pattern on this one, but I didn't like the rim that we did. This one didn't work at all, really. I wouldn't have a completely see-through one, but it might work for you guys. for the fact that it's just a plain, it's, you know, the shading's messed up because I've tried to mirror it. It's gotten a bit put this one, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend this style. We did, example, get rid of it. Same with this one. Because we didn't like it, but we do have some nice tires going on. Yeah, guys, these are our tires. So these are our tires that we've made. Obviously, I've got rid of the inside of these ones because I didn't like it. But we can set these up nicely and make a little... We could reuse these then, so you can get a lot of use out of these on a tire rack or whatever have you. But whatever you fancy, really. But I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. It's a long one and it had lots of parts, but it is going from the basic start, getting the gist of how to create a low poly model, all the way through to texturing, unwrapping, optimizing unwrapping, and then texturing, baking, and you get a nice little model at the end. And as I said, you know, these, obviously we got rid of the insides on some of them, but this is only 768 tries, and you get some nice fucking tires to fill your world with. You guys probably do nicer, you know, this was just dead quick for me, but have a play around with it, see what kind of results you get, and then show me if you can. Said some of these files will be in the links below. I'll put them on my Patreon for free. My Patreon is free at the minute, and you can just get the files from there. And any other information in this series, I will put in the description as well. Guys, if you followed along and you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of work into these tutorials. Obviously, the other ones are quite a lot shorter than this one. This is more in depth. But if you like this sort of thing, if you like learning a bit more in this way, I'm happy to do more because I quite enjoy doing it. I quite enjoy finding errors myself and what's going on. So finding different ways of doing things. This, you know, obviously we sculpt onto these. Might not be the most ideal way for you guys, but quite a fun little quick way of doing it for me. And it might be for you too. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.